Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Sunday, June 16th, 2019. My name is Rich, and joining me to cover the All-Star Skills Challenge is Bijan. How you making out?
I'm doing good, man. I feel like it's deja vu. What are we, like 3 weeks into the past or something?
Yeah, we're rewinding time a little bit. Thankfully, I don't know if I want to say thankfully, but there is a break because of the Stanley Cup Finals. There was a break in Ninja Warrior, which allowed us to go back and cover the Skills Challenge, which is cool. It worked out.
Yeah, I mean, I've been meaning to watch it, so it worked out, man. And like always, it's fun stuff, little long, but not much to complain about.
Yeah, it was weird. Like, it was oddly long. I guess it always is. It always feels incredibly long, and 3 hours is a lot. But this time there was more events. They didn't do anything where they just posted some of the results online like they've done in the past. They really tried to give everybody their due, which is good.
Yeah, and I like the creativity of, I guess, all of the different challenges they had. I feel like it's a lot better than it was in years past. Like it's still, for me, the weakest one is a little running along the poles or whatever, but at least in this one there was a lot of personalities involved, and I don't know, for me at the very least, even that, which was the weakest portion of all the skills, worked just fine. Let's
jump right into it because there is a lot to cover. Right off the bat, we had the team challenge. We had Christine versus Matt versus Akbar, all their teams with some switch ups and some of the same. Like, Matt's team was exactly the same as it has been.
Hasn't. I didn't know that. Like, it's been so long. So, but yeah, I guess. Yeah. Now I think back, that is right.
Yeah. Jamie, Jesse, and Lance. Good, solid team. I really didn't think they had a shot this time around. I honestly, looking at the other teams, I thought they were going to be outmatched.
Really? I think they're very consistent. And I mean, honestly, for me, at the very least, when they initially announced them, I thought they were very even teams all throughout. I mean, I remember it was either last year or the year before. Christine's team was super OP, and I was like, really, guys? These ones a lot more even.
Yeah, she kind of went with the young bloods. I don't know how they pick these teams, if they pick these teams, because nobody's got Drew or Joe. I feel like, okay, they didn't get to pick their all-star team. There's something going on here.
I'm cool with that because they have the USA versus the world. Maybe these are. I have to look back and see if none of these contestants were in USA versus the world or something. But I'm cool not seeing Joe, Drew, all these people where it's oh well, blah blah blah. We're gonna see them in everything else anyways. And yeah, I don't know. When they announced Christine's team, as you said, the Youngbloods, instantly that reminded me of you and your fantasy picks. I mean, you tend to pick people that, I guess, are younger, fresher, or maybe overlooked, or however you want to, determine it. Yeah, for some reason, Christine's team kind of reminded me of what you would pick, Rich.
A little bit. Throughout the whole episode, it's funny, the people that I always feel are overlooked on the show a little bit. Some of my favorite, I don't know, B-list ninjas. I don't know what you want to call them. I don't want to insult them. But the ones that do seem to not get the same focus were on this episode. I was so thrilled to see Josh Salinas and Ethan Swanson get their due.
Yeah, Ethan Swanson, man, really represented in this episode. And I'm like, wow, the Swan, okay. But it makes sense. His talent shows. It's just interesting that, we don't get as much on the, well, I mean, I say that, but I mean, I've seen multiple vignettes of him, so maybe I'm just sleeping on the guy.
Yeah, I think he's starting to really shine a bit, so we'll see. Hopefully this season's his season to really break out. But let's get into some of these, this whole relay race format. I think the format works. I don't know. It feels different. I don't know if it's exactly the same as it's been in the past, but it flows pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Because we don't have everybody running it. It's not like USA versus World where it's so many heats and there's so many runs. It's do your relay as fast as you can, and that's it. The fastest team moves on to stage 3 is wow, that's cutting right to the chase.
Yeah, for me, I mean, this whole thing, like, it kind of, like, the entire episode or special really reminded me of Ninja versus Ninja. It was just constant, for this beginning portion, it was the relays. And for the later portion, it was basically Ninja versus Ninja. They're, like, besides each other, competing against each other in an elimination format. And I really think this is a funner, faster pace way to go. One thing that I've definitely been seeing this year, and obviously this was filmed last year, but I mean, I'm guessing they even had this mindset back then, is quicker, faster pacing, and I guess more stakes involvement, and I really enjoy it. I mean, I enjoyed the older format where it was kind of just one representative going through every single through the stage, and I forget if it was based on how fast they were or how far they went or a mixture of both, but it was a little bit slower pace, and it was based upon one particular, you know what, now I'm saying that's USA versus the world. You know what, never mind, Rich. I'm thinking of something else.
That's all right.
Been a long day.
one thing that stood out here, I don't know if I've ever seen them rename an obstacle once the sponsorship's gone. Did you notice that? It's now called Tire Run instead of Jeep Run.
Wow, I did not catch that. Wow. Do you think they did that on the spot? Because, like, they filmed this a year ago. Do you think they redubbed it?
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, if you sponsored an obstacle, I would expect that obstacle to always be called whatever. It's weird that they would rename it. It must be per episode, I guess.
I do not want that Ninjago roll thing always being called the Ninjago roll. That obstacle is way too cool to be called Ninjago for the rest of the time.
But that's the thing. Like, to me, they sponsored that Ninjago roll, and that should always be called the Ninjago roll because that's who. It's like the TIE fighter in Sasuke, right? Like that's. Oh wait, no, that's not sponsored. That's just ripped off blatantly.
Yeah. A little different.
So I forgot how scary the Double Dipper is until this. I mean, it's been a while, but watching them get onto it, I'm just like, oh god, like anxiety watching them just try to make that transition.
Dude, I mean, this part was fine with me. We'll talk about it later, but there was some stuff with Sean Bryan later that really gave me some almost a heart attack.
So not much to say here in the stage 1 relay. Everybody was going super fast, doing really well. The big shocker moment was when Matisse took a spill rushing on Tire Run. That was kind of unexpected, but at the same time, he was going at such a reckless pace, it really didn't shock me too much.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of respect the fact that he just went for broke, so to speak, because up to that point, Barclay Stockett was going a little bit slower behind their I guess...
No, she was dead even. When she tagged, she was dead even with Jesse Lebrec's time.
Oh. Well, then I'm not really sure then. I guess it just seemed like that. Oh, it's because she paused at the Double Dipper. That's probably why I'm thinking that. But she probably flew through the other stuff. Yeah, I'm not really sure. That said, I mean, once again, I respect go for broke. It's a race. I'd rather see somebody go for broke and do this rather than be slow, methodical when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and if you were to get through it, I mean, it would have been really cool looking. So,
yeah. So that meant that who was it? Jesse. Matt's team. Matt's team had the fastest time, so that meant that they went straight to stage 3. So in stage 2, we had Christine's team versus Akbar's team. Man, I didn't expect Barclay to struggle so much on. Actually, both Barclay and Grant struggled really bad on catch and release.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting, man. I mean, I have to look back, but I don't remember it being that difficult. That said, they were modified, so we do have to give them that kind of addendum,
Yeah, did either one of them do it? I know Barclay didn't get a chance to try it in the regular season, and they both did it. I mean, they just struggled a bit.
Yeah, well, Grant didn't make it to the Vegas finals, so he didn't. All of these obstacles were new to him.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, and it's funny because it kind of worked out the opposite of what I would have expected. I thought Barclay would still be fine on the crisscross salmon ladder, and we've seen Grant struggle on it, so I thought he wouldn't be, but he actually was able to complete it when Barclay actually ended up falling there.
Yeah. And once again, like, these stage 2 obstacles, these are some obstacles I would love to try. And I don't mean that just speaking for myself, but I have to imagine like they're so unique and large. Like they're the type of obstacles you just can't build really in a backyard. Like, catch and release and deja vu. I mean, you can, but man, you could really hurt yourself. So you kind of usually need a pit or, water underneath it. But these are some really, really cool obstacles that, man, I'm sure a lot of ninjas would love to try. We got to like scout out what ninja gyms have these things, man.
What's kind of funny I noticed in this is Tyler Gillette this is the one time I've watched one of these things and I was like, I could do that. I could have totally filled in for Tyler Gillette in this competition because he didn't get to do anything because the team was eliminated without him ever having to do a single obstacle or attempt anything.
No, I did not catch that. Is that true?
Yeah, because
Wow.
Barclay fell at the beginning of stage 2 and Matisse fell at the middle of stage 1, so he was the last leg. He didn't get to do anything.
That is so depressing.
Poor Tyler.
But hey, now we can what do you call it? Like message all the what do you call it? Ninja Warrior Twitter, be like, hey, let us replace Tyler Gillette. We can do it just as well as he did,
Oh, I felt bad for when I realized that. I'm like, wait a minute, do we get to see Tyler do anything? And nope, not a thing.
That's so sad because he's like a super diehard man.
Yeah.
Like it's. I know it's kind of a shtick to be like, oh my gosh, this is my dream, but it's kind of true at the same time. And man, I just hope he gets another opportunity because I know they change out like a lot of the teams and such.
Yeah, at least he got to do other events. I would have been really bad if he didn't get to do anything else, but we did see him in other competitions. So that moved to stage 3. We had Akbar's team versus Matt's team. A new team was going to win because Christine has won it the last couple of years. Grant really struggled on the floating boards. That was a little hard to watch. I thought he was actually going to fail them.
I mean, Grant. One thing about Grant, I gotta say, I love the guy, but he was struggling this entire episode. He was struggling on, I believe, the salmon ladder and the catch and release in stage 2. He was definitely struggling on the floating boards, as you said. But that said, I mean, I don't know how much experience he has on these obstacles. He was still able to get through a lot of these. So, I mean, even though he struggled, he was able to show his grit and determination.
Yeah, he struggled on everything except for the Big Dipper freestyle. He actually did pretty well in that.
I mean, the way it's designed, I mean, the very difficult components kind of taken out, man. I mean, certainly hope you wouldn't struggle on that. Although Brent Stephenson would argue with that statement.
So yeah, this was interesting. The stage 3 competition. They were able to take down 6 obstacles because Grant fell on guard, but Jake and Megan did amazing, beating all the crazy obstacles, including the peg cloud, which looked really difficult. I was most impressed, I think, by Megan and Jesse beating Cane Lane. That thing looks so insane. I didn't think
thing looks like a beast.
Anyone was going to be able to beat that. But they both did. It was really, really cool.
I actually want to give a big shout out to Jake Murray. He beast moded probably the most difficult portion of stage 3. I mean, that middle section where they have basically all like the rock climbing parts, like that is no joke. And Jake Murray absolutely destroyed that part. So big shout out to him. That was really impressive. And yeah, like, as you said, the women just finishing up the rear for both parts, they were so good. It was so amazing to see both buzzers hit, and just, I guess, the way they were able to get through it, it wasn't easy, but it never looked impossible either. And I don't know, there's something about just seeing a woman hit the stage 3 buzzer. I love it.
Yeah, like doing the flying bar and everything. I gave Megan the upper hand on the end of that course, right? Megan's like built for stage 3. But Jessie made up 30 seconds of time on Cane Lane. Like, she just beast moded that obstacle. It was amazing to watch. Man, I hope we get to see one of them. It would be great if we can get to see them go all the way to stage 3 this year in Vegas on their own without having to do this business.
Yeah.
At least we got to see Jessie get out of stage 1. It's like, it's so overdue. It's crazy.
Yeah, and what's weird is Jessie Lebrec's like biggest strengths are on stage 1, I feel. I mean, I could be completely out of lunch on that, but I feel like she really has some great, like fitness, cardio, legs, like all the stuff that is about, stage one, she's got in spades. Megan Martin skews much more towards the stage 2 and 3 portions. Not saying she's not fit for stage one. Obviously she is. She's amazing. I mean, She destroyed the Wolfpack Ninja Tour, which is all, right. Whatever base. So both are poised to finish stage one. It's just really interesting, or at least I'm very interested to see how well they do this year, because I have to imagine both are making it to Vegas, and I just really want to see both on stage 2 and what they have, because I'm sure they've got a lot to prove. Also, Barclay Stockett, man, she comes so close every year. This has to be the year. It has to be the year that she completes stage 1.
All right, so that was it for the that competition. Matt's team ended up bringing it home. Fantastic job.
I'm so glad it just didn't come down to a race on stage 4 of a climb. I'm just so over that.
All right, so if we're going to change out stage 4, what do you want? Do you want the Mega Spider Climb, the Striding Steps, the Wicked Wingnuts, Dual Doorknob Drop, Super Salmon Ladder, or Big Dipper Freestyle to replace it?
All of it. Do all of it. Find a way. I don't know.
Can you imagine? That would be something.
Oh, that would be awful.
I'm just picturing the Big Dipper Freestyle being the final obstacle. Oh my god.
Yeah, that would be a little dangerous, right? But no, they can do it similar to Sasuke, and I'm sure they don't want. Well, I mean, I say that, but stage 4 is literally the original Sasuke version. I mean, yeah, Sasuke evolved over time. I think it's time that they evolve over time. It's literally just a rope climb at this point. I mean, change it, please. Give me something
we just
fresh.
Have anybody on it. So, I mean, if we had people actually attempting it, I think it would have changed by now, but we just don't even get that.
Yeah, I mean, you ain't wrong.
Maybe this year we've got some speed pass or some safety passes that might help us get some attempts. But let's take a look at this Mega Spider. They had just 2 heats on this thing: Neil Craver versus RJ Roman, and Chris Wilczewski versus Lance Pekas. Like the spider climb thing, I don't know. Last year we had like this massive tournament with all the women, and this time it was just like, yeah, we'll just run it 3 times, right? 3 heats.
I liked seeing all the women competing against each other. Maybe that was just me. With that said, I mean, this was fun also. It's there. It's a race. It's quick. I'm cool with it, but I guess I wasn't as emotionally invested as I was in previous years, as you said, with all the women. For me, I really enjoyed watching that more.
Yeah, it looked ridiculous. So they had way too many heats last year, and the women were just dying on the end of it.
I mean, we don't need to spend forever on it.
But it was okay. In the end, Chris Wilczewski ends up winning it by 4/100ths of a second. A very, very close race between him and Neil.
Dude, that final part, it was really close. It was fun. And one thing, these guys looked absolutely exhausted by the end of it. Man. I mean, I'll tell you right now, one of the hardest things for me to do, what a lot of ninjas can do easily, is a spider climb. I mean, James McGrath said that, and he's taller than me, he said, hey, it's not that. So I don't know, but man, the spider climb is so taxing and difficult on your, I don't even know what muscles those are, but the sides of your joints where, like, underneath your butt, I don't know how to describe it, but it hurts. It hurts, y'all. It hurts so much. It is not a muscle you work out all that much. And, yeah, I can't even imagine how these guys were feeling, like, the day after.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I could easily overlook this obstacle. I think anyone that watches the show regularly doesn't really give it a lot of weight as being a difficult obstacle, but knowing you and knowing, your fitness level and the struggle you've had with it, it always makes it more intimidating to me because I see what it can be like. Yeah,
man. I mean, maybe I'm doing it wrong, but ooh, hurts.
So we had Wicked Wingnuts, and Drew sat it out this year, which is kind of odd. He was able to do 20 feet last year.
I don't know. I mean, I go back and forth on if I wanted Drew in it because I feel like it would be obvious that he wins it again. So I'd want like fresh blood, seeing who might also win it. But then it's like, I don't know. Then it's like, well, could the winner beat Drew? All this stuff. I don't know. Would you rather see Drew on it, or would you rather see somebody else like going for it, like other peeps?
I want the best on it. I want Drew on it. I don't care if he clearly wins it. That's fine. We would have had to see Adam Rail trying 20 feet, and I would have loved to have seen that.
Very good point. Yeah, I guess I agree. Yeah, that said, this was a fun competition. This one went a little long for me, I gotta say. I feel like, do we really need to see them go from 16 to 17? Like, let's skip one. We already know, like, the earlier portions, these guys are almost bonking their heads on it, you know? It's like, clearly they're going to get further than this. I don't need to see them doing...
I think when everybody completes one, they generally don't show it. They'll just say, and everybody completed 17 feet, so we moved to 18 feet. But the problem is that at every level, someone went out.
Yeah, I guess, man.
Right? At 14 feet, Josh Salinas went out. At 17, Kevin Bull went out. At 18 feet, Ethan did a crazy spin on the thing, like a double flip after he hit the wing nut. It was pretty brutal. Scary to watch.
Oof.
And at 19 feet, Najee brings home the silver medal once again and goes out.
This poor guy. And, like, you could see it. He knew it as soon as he flung off that thing. It was interesting. Did you notice in Najee's, like, swing up, he wasn't doing the same form that he did prior, where they would swing with their legs kind of, like, flattened downwards, and they would basically be swinging parallel, like a pendulum. And in this one, his legs were kind of just, like, spread out and kind of just, like, not flailing, that's a little too extreme, but it just wasn't proper in the way that he was doing it before. Then he like leapt off it one rotation before that he usually does, and sure enough, he doesn't even get close to it. And I wonder what was up with his approach there.
Yeah, I don't know what tripped him up, but he didn't seem surprised when he missed, right? He like
maybe
he knew he didn't get a good jump off of it. You could see it on his face, like he knew he was not going to get it.
Yeah, did he compete in any other things?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, I don't know. I could be completely out of lunch, but maybe he just tweaked something. Like he hurt himself a little bit, and he's like, "All right, maybe the producer's like, hey, just go for it, but not." Because it's going to be a little anticlimactic, you know? But
well, I mean...
that's completely out of lunch. Everybody there probably knows more.
Yeah, moving on, let's talk about that, because the next one we had was the... congratulations to Adam Rail on winning that thing that he has no business winning.
Yes, the homie. At the last minute, I changed my pick of Sean Bryan in my fantasy league to Adam Rail.
The guy's way too big to be flying through the air like that and catching himself.
God, the dude is a tank. Like, he is so muscular. It's insane.
Yeah. Very big guy. Then we had the dual doorknob drop, and we had Jeff versus Isaac, the epic...
This was weird.
...rematch. It was kind of weird.
I mean, they're like bringing up, like, a rope climb between them and everything. I'm like, this... Are you guys sure you want to bring this up, y'all? Like, this is... I don't know.
Yeah,
it was just getting more and more triggered. Like they're proclaiming Jeff Britton as the first man to complete stage 4. I'm like, really? That's his title? No, he's the first American Ninja Warrior. Like, I don't know. I'm not gonna get back into it, but there was a lot of subtle things that were triggering me as a super fan.
Yeah, it was odd. But I mean, whatever. I'll take it. This isn't the competition I'd want to see them. I want to see them compete against again, but whatever.
Yeah, I will say this. It seemed, at the least in the approach of how they showed on TV, I really like that it was more of a positive vibe between them. It didn't look like... I mean, I know there's not much hate, or there's no hate between them from Jeff Britton's side or probably Isaac Cadiero's side. I'm sure it was just tensions high during that whole situation because Isaac was probably getting a lot of hate. But I'm glad, I guess, that they seem to be over it, I guess, for lack of a better terminology.
Yeah.
Did you get that vibe, or am I...
No, it was certainly billed that way. I have no idea what it was, whether it was like that or not.
Yeah, maybe they just weren't talking to each other. It was like, hey, do this. But
whatever. I mean, it came out it came out fine. I have no problem with building up rivalries. The sport needs a heel. I'll take it. Jeff wins easily, which actually was a nice icing on the cake. So that was good. As far as wins that race anyway.
I mean, he won by quite a bit, but I mean, to be fair, they built it up like Isaac was like, "Hey, this is Jeff Britton's thing. This is not my thing." So I'm sure there are other elements, like maybe a rope climb that Isaac Caldero. There are probably other areas where Isaac would probably win. I mean,
oh sure, I'm sure there is, and neither one of them really. After watching Daniel versus Josh, I don't think either one of them really had a shot at beating those two anyway.
Yes. And I challenge both Isaac and Jeff Britton to a foot race of 100 meters, just so I can simply say I beat Jeff Britton and Isaac Caldero at something. And maybe I wouldn't, but I'm just saying that would be my strong suit. So the challenge is out.
So Daniel Gill versus Josh Levin, I thought was a weird choice. I was like, Daniel's got no hope of beating Josh Levin at this thing, but I was wrong. Josh did end up doing it, but oh my God, Daniel, it was fast.
Yeah. I mean, Daniel's always been really fast with the upper body stuff, but I mean, we're talking about an Olympic speed rock climber. I mean, if there was ever an obstacle or challenge built for Josh Levin, it's this. And very, very high props to Daniel Gill. As much as this shows how impressive Josh Levin is, I think this said even more for Daniel Gill. It's one of those things where you win by losing.
Yeah. Josh did it in 10.33 seconds. Like, you look at this obstacle, there's no way that should be possible, but he did it.
Insane, man.
Next up, we had striding steps. There was a lot of runners in this, way more than I would have expected. Like, it's kind of gotten the short end of the stick in previous seasons. This time around, they put them side by side, which really dramatically improved it.
Man, talk about a complete 180. I mean, previous seasons, it was, as you said, like, it's there. But there was something really fun about this ninja versus ninja approach. They're next to each other, and they're just going for it. And it really made for some really close, epic calls and, like, different approaches and strategy, epic wipeouts. I mean, it was fun. It was a lot of, like, competing against each other, a little too many, like, competitors. But, I mean, I can't say I was bored throughout any of it.
No, it was good right down the line. All of our favorite ninjas were there. The returning champions, Jake Murray and Thomas Stillings, both friends of the podcast, both previous guests.
Yep.
It was great to see them racing against each other, having lots of fun out there. This is probably one of my favorite ones of the whole episode, and I was kind of surprised by that.
Yeah. And major props to everybody that I think I have to look back, but I think Thomas Stillings was the first to try this approach of not actually grabbing the rope, but just jumping up there.
I think it was Joe Moravsky did it first.
Joe did it first? I thought Thomas went for it, but wasn't able to get it fully, and then Joe did it. But I could be wrong. Either one of them did it first, and very, very smart.
Joe, I'm just reading back through my notes. We had so much going on here. I think it was the Nicholas Coolidge run. Joe skipped the rope. He was 2 steps behind and had to do it basically to get past Nicholas Coolidge to get the win for that heat. And
Nice.
then Thomas did it against Jake in the very next race.
Gotcha.
And at the end, we had Thomas Stillings versus Joe Moravsky, and it came down to 5/100ths of a second that Joe narrowly wins it. It was such a great race.
And I liked how competitive they both were. They hit it, and all they wanted to know was who won. They were like, who won? Who made it? I love that.
It was pretty great. And then we had the one that's always been one of my favorites in previous seasons, and this one was pretty good, was the Super Salmon Ladder.
I mean, you say it was pretty good. I was like, I don't know. Something about it. Maybe because they knew the results and were like, I mean, it was pretty clear cut at this point. But for me, first of all, major crime is they didn't have who's the firefighter guy?
Bernardo, yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
They didn't have Bernardo. I mean, this is him. Even more the ANW, Bernardo's known for the Super Salmon Ladder, so it's absolute crime that he's not competing in this. And And yeah, I appreciated all the other competitors, in particular Barclay Stockett. Man, I love seeing her on there and getting actually breaking a record for the women on that salmon ladder. But I mean, as soon as nobody made it all the way to the top, I mean, you just knew Sean Bryan was going to do it, or at least I did.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, that was what killed it for me this year. A little bit. I think Barclay saved it for me, right? Like, I really liked watching hers. But otherwise, yeah, it was a crime that Bernardo wasn't on it, and it was very disappointing that Carson Williams wasn't there. It's like, these are the guys that crushed it in previous years. We need the defending champs here. Come on.
Yeah, completely.
And that brought us down to the Big Dipper freestyle, which is the weirdest addition to this show I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, very strange. But sorry, major shout out to Sean Bryan absolutely destroying that. I've never seen anybody absolutely destroy the Super Sam ladder like that. Basically double hopping the entire way. That was absolutely amazing.
Yes. He is unstoppable. They have got to find someone that can come anywhere remotely close to him to put some kind of a competition against him.
Yeah, if there was an athletically profound run of the night, that would be it. And not even close.
Well, here was the weird thing about Sean Bryan in this episode, because Big Dipper Freestyle starts, which is really very showboaty and big personalities and everything else. You would think he would be at a disadvantage in this when you look at who he's against. And he absolutely destroyed the competition in this.
Yeah. I mean, I was stunned. This was a really big eye-opening moment for her. I mean, it's not really eye-opening because I know how impressive this guy is, but I guess in terms of personality, even though I talked to the guy for multiple hours waiting to run and everything, I know the guy, he was very personable, but man, in front of the camera and everything, I've never seen him like this, and very, very good look. I very much appreciate this a whole lot more than the whole, I was about to say preacher shtick, but it's not preacher.
He's the Papal Ninja.
Papal,
I mean, it's
thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's pretty much his life, but we can only get the same story over and over again, you know? And I think this brought a new dimension to characters are the wrong term, but you know what I mean, like how he shows himself off to the world.
Well, here I'm reading back over my notes, and I'm just remembering how blown away this was and how weirdly jarring it was. That if you told me that out of these people, that one of them was going to just dive into the water without touching the bar, and one of them was going to do it with his legs, do 3 flips at the bottom, and then fly into the water. There's no way that I would pick Drew to be the one to dive without touching the bar and Sean to be the one using his legs. Like, what the heck was going on in this competition?
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Also, I mean, I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I was absolutely stunned that, I'm sorry, but Sean Bryan's first trick or whatever thing that he did was by far, in my opinion, the most impressive thing throughout this entire competition.
Yep.
Am I insane here? Because like
no, and I get why Christine gave him a 9, basically trying to leave room to kind of improve along the way.
I understand also.
But here's the thing. If she had given him that deserved 10, he would have had perfect scores in all 3 rounds.
Yeah. I mean, not just that. I mean, I forget which run tied it, which made them go to like basically elimination style, like sudden death. I mean, it wasn't even close. That's impressive.
So,
it really wasn't.
Yeah, so Drew, he called flip up with him, and they both went down at the same time. Both did flips, and that got him a perfect score, too.
Yeah, that... I mean, how do you compare the two? Okay, everybody.
Yeah.
Sean Bryan basically wrapped his legs around the darn bar. So basically he's upside down, hops it forward, slides down this super dangerous like roller coaster thing, like basically doing that thing that Kevin Bull did, that cannonball thing that he did, and then does like a flip straight out of like gymnastics from the Olympics, man. Like, this is some stuff that you would see in the Olympics. That was insane. And the only reason that he probably didn't get all top scores was because it was his first try or attempt. But man, that was so dope. But you
that's
know
the
what?
thing.
I'm
Even
cool
if he
with
had
it.
gotten perfect score, like it wouldn't have mattered because they just took your highest score anyway, right? And he got a perfect score on his second one when he started mimicking everyone. He was dancing around like Grant, then he climbed up on the supports like Ethan, wears Jake Murray's shirt and does his pose as he's diving into the water. Like,
Man.
where did all that personality come from?
I love Sean Bryan. I mean, I don't know where it came from, but man, this guy is a national treasure. Wow, that was amazing. It was hilarious and good on him. Perfect in terms of impressions and everything. But so personable. And honestly, out of somebody that I would have never expected it from. And shame on me for not seeing Sean Bryan had this in him, but that was so fun.
So then they have a dive off, and I get the distinct impression that Drew had not prepared it, had no idea that he might have to do a third one. And his first one was just a dive into the water. Like, he really didn't prepare for this, where it looks like Sean went all out.
Man, I give him negative points for that. Come on, bro.
Yeah, that was sad. I don't know what he was thinking with that one. If he just put it all into the second one, I don't know.
It seems like that's what his plan was. But it's like, once again, you're on a show. Don't do that, man. It's like...
But, I mean, Sean Bryan had these huge welts on his back when he got up for the third dive. It was like he really took
talk about that. That
hit
was
somewhere
nasty.
along the way.
Yeah, that was straight up nasty.
And then, so what does he do, right? He's all beat up. He's got to go against Drew in this dive off. And he goes down backwards, does 2 front flips and a twist. Like, where has this guy been? Like, I mean, I know he's been, I think he's the only person to be in stage 3 the last 2 years. I don't know why we keep thinking that he's not like the best out there, because he's definitely proving he is.
I mean, once again, I'm sleeping. Well, I wanted to pick him, but he was injured when I initially picked him, so I didn't know if he was competing. But I definitely would have kept him in my fantasy league. Sean Bryan, if you want to know where he's been, apparently he's been in some swimming pools, because this dude knows how to dive into some swimming pools. That was dope. I don't know, man. This was amazing. And going into this freestyle thing, I was like, this can be an epic hot mess, or it could be interesting. And I gotta say, I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed a few of them. I'm kind of glad they had 6 people doing it just so they could, get a few in there, because there's a lot of them that are just trying some straight up dives. I really wouldn't have known what to do myself. I can't really judge that. But they're, messing up and just doing poor dives or belly flops and stuff. Some intentional, which was funny. I liked Grant. Like, his second dive was great. Stripped down to the bikini bottom. He called that he was going to do 3 flips to a belly flop, and he totally did it. And it was pretty great.
And good on Grant, because he is one of the few men that can rock some spandex.
But yeah, it had some good moments. I think the striding steps was probably still my favorite one of the episode, but there was some great moments in the Big Dipper freestyle.
Who would have thought that Rich would say the striding steps was his highlight of the Darn Skills Challenge? That is insane. But, I mean, pretty much true. I'm trying to think back. What was the first competition again?
The Mega Spider climb.
Mega Spider.
Definitely wasn't that.
Definitely not that. I mean,
Wicked Wingnuts, maybe.
I was about to say, maybe the Wingnuts, but the Wingnuts went a little long and had some pacing issues. So you know what? I'm going to agree with you. It was the striding steps, which floors me, because I would have never thought in a million years I'd say that.
Yeah, me too. But the side-by-side helped, for sure. And the personalities, everybody was kind of ribbing each other. It was a great spirit, and when they would fall, they'd usually, ham it up and stuff. So, made it good.
Yeah, well said.
All right, so that is it for this week. Thank you all so much for listening. We will be back with our main season ANW coverage next week. I believe the show is on tomorrow, actually. It's on Mondays again.
Ooh, exciting.
So if you'd like to reach out to me, you can reach me as rich@ninjapodcast.com. I am at Ninja Podcast on both Instagram and Twitter. And Bijan, how can they reach you?
Yeah, hit me up at Twitter and Instagram at Bijan151. That is Bijan 151.
All right, thank you all so much for listening, and have a wonderful week.
Peace, love, and deuces, y'all.